And now, kids, it's time for the story of Sir Gordon, the Gold Knight, and his fine horse, Bravo. Kind of a Christmas story. When I was a kid, um, I had two friends named Todd and Scott. Todd was actually my friend. Scott was a year or two older and wasn't my friend. But Todd and Scott were the kind of kids that got everything they wanted and had everything that you wanted. Like when I got a new bicycle, it was actually the old bicycle that my brother had been abusing for 4 years. So when I rode down the street, it was kind of that kind of thing. But they got new bicycles, really nice ones. And Todd's was blue and Scott's was red, matching. A couple years later, when I desperately wanted a dirt bike to ride in the giant field across from our house, I didn't get one. I didn't even come close to getting one, but they did. Todd got a blue one and Scott got a red one. It was really fun to go watch them ride their dirt bikes. Fun. Anyway, Todd was a good friend and a pretty good kid, but one day I went over to their house. It was probably in October. And their mom said, yeah, they're downstairs playing. And I went downstairs, and there in the hallway of their basement were two majestic knights seated on horses, clad in armor, and shouting insults at each other. You are a scurvy, no good doofus, and I will kill you. Oh, yeah? Well, you smell like ketchup, and you look like uh, a worm. They shouted insults for quite a while as I stood there and watched. And then Todd and Scott moved the horses to each other. The horses had wheels in the bottom of their hooves. They smashed into each other, and pieces of armor and stuff went flying everywhere. And then they argued. Oh, your guy would be dead because he got hit by my sword. No, your guy would be dead because he fell off. No, your horse broke his leg. Wait, his bone is sticking out of his leg. Anyway, they argued for about 10 more minutes, and I was thrilled. It was like, those are the coolest things ever. I said, hey, you guys, can I play? No. Do you have a knight? No. Well, then get one. What are you going to play with our little sister's Barbie? No. Anyway, when I left their house that day, I resolved in my heart that I must get myself a silver knight. They both had silver knights, actually. Sir Stuart, the silver knight. Anyway, so I ran home. I opened up the Sears catalog, which was actually a paper catalog because back then there was no internet. Anyway, and there on page 4,000,006 were the knights with their horses. Not only was there a silver knight, but there was a gold one. Sir Gordon and his fine horse, Bravo. If I could just get that gold knight, I could take it to their house and I could show them who's boss. It'd be like, I have come to smite thee. Oh, no, don't smite me. Anyway, you get the idea. So, my birthday was coming up, beginning of November. And I thought, this is the perfect opportunity. I can get Sir Gordon the Gold Knight and his fine horse Bravo, and I can go and smite Todd and Scott and their pathetic little giggling silver knights. I'll hear no more remarks about his little sister's Barbie. Well, so I talked to my mom about it. I said, Mom, for my birthday, Do you suppose I could get Sir Gordon the Gold Knight and his fine horse Bravo? And I showed her the catalog. And she said, well, talk to your dad about it. Now you guys know what that means. That means no, not a chance. But I was so desperate that I did talk to my dad about it. He got home. Dad, I'd really like to get this for my birthday. It's Sir Gordon the Gold Knight and his fine horse Bravo. And he looked at it. And he looked at me. And he just sort of laughed. What? Well, see, I'd like to be able to fight with Todd and Scott and their knights, and I need to. And he went back to reading his newspaper. People read them back then. Anyway, you got to understand, birthdays back then were different. On my birthday, I didn't have a sleepover. We didn't go to Chuck E. Cheese. Nobody did. We didn't have 12 million presents and money coming in from everyone we knew. My mom would make me the dinner I wanted. So she'd say, what would you like for your birthday dinner? Sometimes she would make a cake. And sometimes I would get a present. But it wasn't something that I submitted a request for. I would like this and this and this for my birthday. It was just kind of whatever they felt like giving me. So birthdays were different back then. And it wasn't a week of celebrations where the entire world stopped and you became the star of the universe. It was pretty much like, way to go, kid. You survived another year. Here's some cake and a sucker. Have a nice day. That was pretty much a birthday back then. Well, so when my birthday came, needless to say, I did not get Sir Gordon the Gold Knight. I don't even remember what I did get. It was probably, I don't know, a shirt with a stripe on it. But anyway, the cool thing about having your birthday in November is that if you didn't get anything you wanted, there was still Christmas. So I composed a letter. Dear Santa Claus, I didn't even believe in Santa Claus. I have been really good this year. Ish. I would really like Sir Gordon the Gold Knight and his fine horse Bravo so that I can go and smite Todd and Scott upon their pate. That's a fancy word for head. I will bringeth down vengeance upon them. I was starting to speak in King James English just because they're knights, okay? And you will love it because they are both naughty. And then I signed it. I put it in an envelope. And I gave it to my mom. Santa Claus was written on the outside of the envelope. Here, Mom, here's a letter for Santa Claus. What? Letter for Santa Claus? You can read it if you want. So I'm sure she read it. And I'm sure that she had my dad read it. Well, the weeks went by, and my humiliation at the hands of Todd and Scott continued. I was not allowed to play with their knights. Even when Scott was gone, Todd knew that if Scott came back and realized that someone had touched his knight, it would not be pretty. So we did other things, probably healthier things like playing football outside or shouting names at the neighborhood girls, one of which was never mind. All right. Anyway, so the weeks went by, and I'm sure my mom and dad read the letter to Santa Claus. And every year at Christmas, all my cousins, well, we usually all got together somewhere. This year it was at our house. And so I was going to have 4 or 5 cousins and a couple aunts and uncles coming over. It was going to be a big celebration. That was going to be the night of my glorious victory. And then on December 26th, I and Sir Gordon were going to wreak havoc upon Todd and Scott and their boastful mouths. Well, you guys know how Christmas dinner goes. All the kids want to open the presents, but the adults sit there and eat for approximately 8 days. Slowly. And they drink coffee. You know, I think I'll have another cup of coffee. This makes 67 cups of coffee while you're all waiting to open the presents. Well, it was no different that Christmas. After my parents and my aunts and uncles had had their 15th piece of pie, their 67th cup of coffee, and talked about every conceivable thing in the universe, finally, my Uncle Delbert said, "Oh, anybody want to open presents?" And the kids were all like, yeah, it's time. It's been time for about 4 hours now. And my dad said, yeah, okay. And so we all moseyed out into the living room, and there were a whole bunch of presents under the tree. I had counted 5 presents for me, and my brother was going to be the elf that year. That means that he was going to bring us our presents. You know, he would go up and find one for me and bring it to me and hand it to me. And it was pretty special. Now, I had looked at my presents, and 3 of them were definitely not Sir Gordon the Gold Knight and his fine horse Bravo. They were probably something great, but they were definitely not big enough to be this. Okay. And so we all sat down, and my brother brought around the first round of presents. He came to me and he said, "Here, idiot." Thanks. Well, I opened it up. It was a handkerchief. You know, the kind you blow your nose on? Only it had my initials in the corner. That was pretty special. Pretty special. The only good thing about getting the handkerchief was that my brother got one too. So we get to the next round of presents. He brings me my next present. This was another kind of smallish one. Not too big. Here, doofus. Thanks. Oh, sweet, it's a wallet. Now I can store all my money in it. Now my cousin said, "Do you have any money?" Well, no, but if I had money, I would store it in here. So I had a handkerchief and a wallet. Next, my brother brought me a little bigger package that could conceivably have been Sir Gordon, but definitely not the horse as well. But I had hopes. I opened it up. Oh, sweet, some socks. I love new socks. They're so socky. Now that left the 2 big presents. By now, my brother was actually starting to feel sorry for me. For 2 reasons. One, he knew how badly I wanted Sir Gordon the Gold Knight and his fine horse Bravo. But mostly, he knew that if I got something really good, he would get something really good too. So far, he had gotten exactly the same things I had gotten: the handkerchief, the wallet, and the socks. So anyway, I think we're going to have to stop right there, right, for this week. Next week, I will tell you what was in the 2 big boxes, and you will hear the remainder of the story of Sir Gordon the Gold Knight and his fine horse, Bravo.